My girlfriend was getting ready and said, "Can you leave the house for about an hour? I need some privacy with my best friend." I didn't say a word, just picked up my keys and left. Outside, her best friend, the girl one, bumped into me, handed me a gift pack, smiled awkwardly, and quickly walked away. A couple of hours later, my girlfriend called me crying hysterically, saying, "Something went terribly wrong. Leah and I moved in together about 8 months ago. Small apartment, nothing fancy, but it was ours. She worked from home doing graphic design. I was in sales, gone most days making calls and meeting clients. Our schedules worked. We had Friday movie nights, Sunday breakfast traditions, the whole domestic thing. Her best friend since college was this guy named Brett. I'd met him a handful of times. Nice enough, always polite, brought wine to dinners. Leah insisted they were purely platonic, that he was like a brother. I believed her because I'm not the jealous type, and honestly, she'd never given me a reason not to trust her. But looking back, there were small things. The way she'd tilt her phone away when texting him. How she'd laugh just a little too hard at his jokes when we all hung out. How she'd mention him constantly. Brett said this. Brett thinks that. The previous month, she'd canceled 2 of our date nights because Brett needed help with something. Once it was moving furniture, another time it was emotional support after a bad breakup. I didn't complain. I told myself I was being mature, being understanding. Now I wonder if I was just being blind. There was also the fact that she'd become distant. Not dramatically, but enough that I noticed. She'd zone out during conversations. Sex had become less frequent. When I'd ask if something was wrong, she'd smile and say she was just stressed with work deadlines. I wanted to believe her, so I did. Thursday morning started normal. I was getting ready for work. She was at her laptop in pajamas nursing her second coffee. Around 10 a.m., I got a text from her. "Hey, can you leave the house for about an hour this afternoon? I need some privacy with my best friend." I stared at that message for a solid minute. Privacy? In our apartment? The apartment we shared? I texted back. "Everything okay?" "Yeah, just need to talk about something personal. Would really appreciate it." My gut twisted. Something felt wrong, but I couldn't articulate what. I typed and deleted 3 different responses before settling on. "Sure, what time?" "Around 2? Thanks, babe, red heart." The heart emoji felt like an afterthought, like she'd added it to soften the weirdness of her request. I tried to focus on work calls that morning, but I couldn't. My mind kept circling back to that text. Why couldn't she talk to Brett somewhere else? Why did it have to be our home? Why did she need me gone? I came home for lunch around 1:30 p.m., made a sandwich I barely tasted. Leah was in the bedroom, door closed, talking on the phone. Her voice was low, almost secretive. I stood outside the door for a moment, hating myself for it, but I couldn't hear what she was saying. Just murmurs and occasional soft laughs. I knocked once. "I'm heading out soon." "Okay, thank you." Her voice was too bright, too performative. I grabbed my keys, my wallet, and left without another word. Didn't kiss her goodbye. Didn't tell her I loved her. The apartment door closed behind me with a hollow click that felt heavier than it should have. I was halfway to my car when I nearly walked straight into someone. It was Violet, Leah's other best friend. The girl one. The one she'd known since high school. Her actual closest friend, if we're being honest. Violet was holding a small gift bag, wrapped with a ribbon and bow, and her face went completely pale when she saw me. "Oh, hey," she stammered, taking a step back like I'd caught her doing something wrong. "Hey, Violet. Looking for Leah?" I asked. "Yeah. No. She thrust the bag toward me like it was burning her hands. "This is for you, actually." I took it, confused. The bag was heavier than expected. "For me? What's the occasion?" Violet wouldn't meet my eyes. She stared at the ground, at her car, at anything but my face. "Just open it later, okay? Not now. Please, not now. And I'm sorry." "Sorry for what?" Her eyes filled with tears. I'm sorry. I have to go." "Violet, wait." But she was already walking away, practically jogging to her car. She got in, slammed the door, and peeled out of the parking lot before I could say another word. I watched her taillights disappear around the corner, my heart pounding for reasons I couldn't explain. I stood there in the parking lot holding this gift bag, my stomach twisting into knots. I looked back at our apartment. Second floor, curtains drawn. I could see Leah's shadow moving behind them. She was pacing, back and forth, back and forth. I got in my car and just sat there. My hands were shaking. I put the bag on the passenger seat and stared at it like it might explode. Part of me wanted to rip it open right there. Part of me was terrified of what I'd find. I started the engine and drove. Didn't know where I was going. Just drove. Took random turns. Ended up on the highway heading north. My mind was racing. Why would Violet apologize? Why did she look so guilty? What the hell was in this bag? And why was Leah in our apartment right now with Brett, needing privacy? 20 minutes later, I pulled into a coffee shop parking lot. I couldn't take it anymore. I grabbed the bag and opened it. Inside was a bottle of whiskey, Jameson Black Barrel, expensive stuff, the kind I liked but rarely bought for myself. Beneath it was a handwritten note on floral stationery, the kind with little purple flowers in the corners. Violet's handwriting was shaky, like she'd been crying while writing it. I'm so sorry. You deserve better than this. She made me promise not to tell you, but I can't just let this happen. I thought about staying quiet, but if someone was doing this to me, I'd want to know. I hope you can forgive her someday, but I'd understand if you can't. You're a good person. I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner. V. I read it 3 times. 4. 5. Each time, the words hit harder. Forgive her for what? Let what happen? My hands started trembling so badly I nearly dropped the note. My chest felt tight. I couldn't breathe properly. Everything clicked into place. The distance, the canceled dates, the secretive phone calls, the constant mentions of Brett, and now this. Needing me out of the apartment so she could be alone with him. I called Violet. It went straight to voicemail. I called again. Voicemail. Texted her. What the hell is going on? Call me now. No reply. I called Brett's number. I had it from a group chat. Voicemail. I sat in that parking lot for 2 hours. Watched the clock. 2 p.m. passed. 2:30 p.m., 3 p.m., 3:30 p.m. My phone buzzed at 3:47 p.m. It was Leah, calling. I stared at her name on the screen. For a moment, I considered not answering. Considered driving to a bar and drinking that entire bottle of whiskey. But I answered. Hello. She was sobbing. Hysterical, gasping sobs that didn't sound like her at all. You need to come home. Please. Something went terribly wrong. What are you talking about? My voice came out colder than I intended. Please just come home. I can explain everything. I need you. Please, just come home. Where's Brett? He's still here. Please just come home. She hung up before I could respond. I sat there for another minute, gripping the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. Then I drove back. Faster than I should have. Ran 2 yellow lights. My heart was pounding so hard I could feel it in my throat, in my ears, in my fingertips. I took the stairs 2 at a time, nearly tripped on the landing. When I opened the door, Leah was sitting on the couch, face buried in her hands, shoulders shaking violently. She looked up when I walked in. Her eyes were red and swollen. Mascara streaked down her cheeks in thick black lines. Her hair was a mess. She looked devastated. Thank God you're here, she choked out, reaching toward me. I stayed by the door. Didn't sit. Didn't move closer. What happened? It was supposed to be a surprise, she said, voice cracking. For you. For us. I never meant. What was supposed to be a surprise? She gestured toward the bedroom with a shaking hand. Brett helped me set it up. That's why I asked you to leave. So we could. She broke down again, sobbing into her palms. I walked to the bedroom and pushed the door open. The room was completely trashed. The bed was covered in rose petals, red and white, scattered everywhere, many of them crushed and torn. Candles were everywhere, tea lights, pillar candles, decorative ones. Half of them knocked over, wax spilled across the dresser and pooled on the hardwood floor. A banner hung crooked on the wall, half torn down. Happy anniversary. One corner was still taped up, the other side dragging on the floor. Balloons, gold and silver, were scattered across the room. Some popped, some deflating slowly. A small folding table had been set up near the window with champagne in an ice bucket, 2 crystal glasses, and a small jewelry box sitting open. Inside was a watch. Men's watch. Expensive looking, silver with a black leather band. I picked it up. It was heavy real. I turned it over. Engraved on the back in elegant script, to the love of my life. 3 years and forever. L. And sitting on the edge of the bed, head in his hands, looking absolutely miserable, was Brett. What the hell is going on? I said, my voice barely above a whisper. Brett looked up. His face was pale, drawn. He looked like he'd aged 5 years in the last hour. Man, I tried to tell her this was a bad idea. I told her she should just tell you what she was planning, but she wanted it to be a surprise. Tell me what was a bad idea? Leah appeared in the doorway behind me, still crying, makeup ruined. I wanted to surprise you. It's our 3-year anniversary next week. I wanted to do something special, something big, something you'd never forget. Brett was helping me set everything up, and then, she hiccuped through her tears, struggling to breathe properly. Then Violet showed up. Violet was here. Brett stood up slowly, like his whole body hurt. She thought. Leah texted her earlier this week saying she was planning something with me, spending a lot of time with me, and Violet must have misunderstood. She thought I was cheating on you. Leah finished quietly, her voice barely audible. I stood there frozen. My brain felt like it was moving through mud, trying to process everything at once and failing. She showed up about 20 minutes after you left. Leah continued, her voice breaking. Brett and I were hanging the banner. We were laughing because he kept dropping his end, and I was teasing him about it. The door wasn't locked because Brett had been running down to his car to grab more stuff. Violet she walked in and saw us. Saw the candles, the bed, the champagne. Saw Brett and me alone in our bedroom. She started screaming. Brett nodded, running his hands through his hair. She completely lost it. Started yelling at Leah, calling her every name in the book. She said Leah was disgusting, that she was throwing away the best thing that ever happened to her, that you deserved so much better. Leah tried to explain, but Violet wouldn't listen. She knocked over the candles, Leah said, gesturing at the wax spills. Tore down the banner. Kicked the table. Brett tried to get between us, tried to calm her down, but she just kept screaming. She said, Leah's voice broke completely. She said she was going to find you and tell you everything. That she wasn't going to let me ruin your life. I looked at Brett. He met my eyes, completely sincere. I swear on everything, man. We were just setting up a surprise anniversary thing. That's it. I was going to be gone before you got back. That was the whole point. Leah didn't want you to know I'd been here at all. She wanted you to come home and think she'd done all this herself. I walked over to the bed and sat down heavily. Picked up the jewelry box again. The watch inside was beautiful. The engraving was perfect. The whole room, minus the destruction, screamed effort. Thought. Planning. Love. So Violet thought. I trailed off, looking at Leah. She thought I was having an affair. Leah whispered, fresh tears spilling down her face. And she gave you that note, didn't she? That's why you look like God, you thought. I pulled the note from my pocket and handed it to her. She read it, her hands shaking, and more tears fell. She looked destroyed. She's been worried about us, Leah said softly, sinking down to sit on the floor, her back against the wall. I've been stressed with work. I've been distant. I've been spending so much time planning this and coordinating with Brett and shopping and trying to make everything perfect that I haven't been present with you. I didn't tell Violet what I was really planning because I wanted the surprise to be complete. I didn't want anyone accidentally letting it slip. She must have noticed me pulling away, noticed me talking about Brett constantly, and put the pieces together wrong. Brett moved toward the door. I'm gonna go. This is ya. You two need to talk. Alone. He paused, looking at me. I'm sorry, man. I really am. I thought we were doing something nice. Thanks for trying, I managed to say. He squeezed Leah's shoulder as he passed, gave me one more apologetic look, and left. The apartment door closed quietly behind him. The silence was deafening. Just Leah's quiet sniffling and the distant sound of traffic outside. I sat there on the bed holding that watch, turning it over and over in my hands. The engraving caught the light. To the love of my life. Leah stood up slowly and sat down on the couch. I joined her, leaving a little distance between us. She kept her hands in her lap, twisting her fingers together. I'm sorry, she said finally. I wanted to do something special. I wanted to show you how much you mean to me. I've been so focused on my career, and I felt like I was taking you for granted. I wanted one perfect day where everything was about us, about what we've built together. And it fell apart. I looked at her, really looked at her. The guilt on her face wasn't the guilt of someone caught. It was the guilt of someone whose good intentions had blown up in the worst possible way. Someone who'd wanted to do something beautiful and watched it turn into a nightmare. You should have told me, I said finally. Not about the surprise. I get why you wanted it to be a surprise. But Leah, I felt you pulling away for weeks. If Violet noticed it, I definitely noticed it. I didn't know what to think, but I knew something was wrong. I know. Her voice broke again. I've been so focused on planning this, on making it perfect, on coordinating everything, that I forgot to just be present with you. I thought I was doing something good, something romantic, but I was actually hurting you in the process. I'm so sorry. I exhaled slowly, setting the watch down on the coffee table. And you really weren't. You and Brett. No. She looked me dead in the eye, and I saw nothing but truth there. Never. I would never do that to you. Brett's my friend. That's all he's ever been. He was helping me because I needed help carrying stuff, setting things up, and I didn't want to ask any of our other friends because I was afraid word would get back to you. He was the safe choice. Or at least I thought he was. I believed her. Maybe I was an idiot for believing her so quickly after everything, but I did. The evidence was all around me. The banner, the candles, the watch, the effort. This wasn't the setup of an affair. This was the wreckage of good intentions. Violet owes you an apology too, I said. A big one. Leah nodded. I'll talk to her. She was just trying to protect you. I can't even be that mad at her, honestly. If I saw my best friend's girlfriend in a bedroom with another guy, I'd probably react the same way. She could have asked you what was going on before destroying everything. She was emotional. She loves you. As a friend, I mean. She was trying to save you from getting hurt. Leah wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. God, what a mess. We sat there for a long time, not saying anything. The destroyed bedroom was visible through the doorway, a constant reminder of how badly things had gone. Eventually, I reached over and took her hand. She squeezed it like a lifeline. Next time you want to surprise me, I said, just make me dinner or something. This was a little too much drama for one afternoon. She laughed, a wet, broken sound, and leaned her head on my shoulder. Deal. No more elaborate surprise plans. Just dinner and Netflix. I can live with that. We stayed like that for a while, her head on my shoulder, my hand in hers. The panic that had been eating at me for hours finally started to fade. My heartbeat slowed. The knot in my chest loosened. I really am sorry, she whispered. I know you are. Do you forgive me? I thought about it. Really thought about it. Yeah, I do. But Leah, we need to work on communication. Both of us. If you're stressed or planning something, or whatever, you need to let me in. I can't read your mind. You're right. I will. I promise. I kissed the top of her head. And I need to trust you more. I let my imagination run wild today. That's on me too. You had every reason to be suspicious. Violet literally gave you a note saying I was doing something terrible. Still, I should have come home and asked you directly instead of sitting in a parking lot spiraling. She lifted her head and looked at me. We're both works in progress, huh? Yeah, but we're working on it together. She smiled. A real smile this time, small but genuine. I love you. I love you too. Update. I called Violet the next morning. She answered on the first ring. I'm so sorry, she said immediately, words tumbling out in a rush. I jumped to conclusions. I saw them together and I thought I was protecting you, but I made everything worse. It's okay, I said, and I meant it. You were trying to look out for me. I appreciate that, even if it went sideways. I ruined her surprise. I destroyed her anniversary setup. I called her horrible things. Her voice cracked. I'm a terrible friend. You're not. You're a good friend who made a mistake. It happens. Is Leah mad at me? A little, but she'll get over it. You two need to talk, though? Face to face. They met for coffee that weekend. I didn't go. This was something they needed to work out themselves. They talked for 3 hours. Violet apologized profusely. Leah explained everything. They both cried, and eventually they hugged it out. By the time Leah came home, things were mostly back to normal between them. Brett still comes around. I'm not weird about it anymore. Turns out, he really is just a good friend. A few weeks later, he even helped me plan a surprise for Leah, a weekend trip to a bed and breakfast upstate. No elaborate setups. No room decorations. Just a quiet getaway where we could reconnect. It was perfect. As for the anniversary, we celebrated it quietly. Ordered Thai food, watched a movie on the couch, and I gave her the necklace I'd been planning to buy her for weeks. She gave me a framed photo of us from our first date. I didn't even know she had it. We laughed about the disaster that could have been, grateful it turned into something we could recover from. And I still have the watch. I wear it every day. The engraving makes me smile every time I see it. A reminder that sometimes the worst moments can have innocent explanations. Looking back, I realize how close we came to disaster. If I'd walked in without context. If I'd let my anger take over. If Leah had actually been doing what Violet thought she was doing. But she wasn't. And I'm glad I gave her the chance to explain before making any irreversible decisions. Sometimes the worst assumptions are just that, assumptions. And sometimes a surprise gone wrong is still just a surprise. The whole experience taught me something important. Trust isn't just about believing the best in someone. It's about giving them the space to explain when things look bad. It's about communication, patience, and remembering why you fell in love with them in the first place. Leah and I are stronger now than we were before. We talk more. We check in with each other. We're more intentional about quality time. And we've agreed, no more surprise anniversary celebrations. Just honest, simple gestures of love. That's more than enough.